What if you could roll out the red carpet to your new life in paradise? Literally. In today's episode, we're talking about Panama's Golden Visa, also known as the VIP visa, or for the fabulously dramatic, the red carpet visa. With a real estate investment and a one-time $10,000 fee, you can skip the long lines and fast-track your way to permanent residency in one of the world's most expat-friendly countries. Stick around as we break down how it works, who it's for, and why this golden opportunity might be your ultimate plan B. Welcome to the Panama Podcast, from dreaming to doing. I'm your host, Melissa Darnay. If you want insider tips on living, investing, and having a blast in Panama, go to choosepanama.com and snag your free copy of Panama Uncorked. In this video, I'm joined by Ricardo Ferrudo, a prominent Panama lawyer and founding partner of DenFab Law. With decades of experience and thousands of visa applications under his belt, Ricardo will explain this special visa step by step. If you're considering making Panama your home, your business hub, or just your plan B, you won't want to miss his expert insights. Ricardo, welcome, and let's just dive right in. What exactly is Panama's Golden Visa, and how is it different from other visa options?
Okay. Our Golden Visa was initially issued in October 2020. And what we were looking is to make a more competitive product to go against other Golden Visas out there in different countries. There are many things that were done for this type of visa that give improvements on all our other types of residencies. Number one, they made a specific office in the Ministry of Commerce to handle these processes. Number two, you don't have to be here in Panama in order to do the residency application. And that's generally a big one, because although you can come and sign the paperwork, you can go home and the lawyer can do the transaction. Or sometimes, because you can include dependents, it's difficult to bring your children and get the time frame for everybody to have to come for the application. So this visa allows your lawyer to be able to do the process while you're back home. It also, one of the big changes in this type of residency opposed to our other investment in real estate residencies, is that this type of residency allows you to apply while the property is still in pre-construction.
That's important.
That opens up the whole pre-construction option for people looking for residency with real estate investments. On our other real estate investment residencies, you have to wait until the property has been transferred to your name or your corporation or your foundation to apply. In the Golden Visa, if the building could be 3 years away or 4 years away, and as long as you've complied with the minimum investment amount, we can move forward with the residency application. Then finally, the residency application time is only 30 business days. So, for example, you can come to Panama for a week, go see properties, go back home, make a reservation, make the payment to buy the property, and literally 60 days later have an indefinite residency in Panama. And that is a game changer.
And this is important because the Friendly Nations visa right now, it takes about 4 years or a little bit more, 4 years and change, to get that permanent visa.
Correct. So for the Friendly Nations and all the other types of residency options that we have besides the Pensionado visa, you first have to do an application that takes 6 months. And then within the 6 months, they're going to issue you a 2-year temporary residency. Then 2 years after, you do another application that takes 6 months. And then is that you get the indefinite residency. So it takes 3 years altogether, at least, to get the indefinite residency, where on the Golden Visa, you can have indefinite residency in 2 months. And with the indefinite residency, then that's when it gets interesting, because you start your pathway to citizenship with his 5 years from indefinite residency. You can also immediately get your Panamanian cédula, which is our local ID, and it has a lot of benefits for different people, but it's basically your Panamanian ID number.
And with the Friendly Nations visa, it applies to the 40-something countries that are friendly to Panama. And it's my understanding that with the red carpet visa, people who come from countries or have passports from countries who aren't on that Friendly Nations list can also get a visa easier.
Yes, 100%. I mean, the golden visa is for anyone. It doesn't have a restrictions. It's just more based on doing the investment, which is $300,000 in real estate. For example, I have a Chinese client that I just did the process for. He couldn't travel to Panama because it's a restricted, he needs to get a tourist visa and it's a restricted category. It's almost impossible to come here as a tourist. So he actually bought the property sight unseen. We did the process and now he came as a resident.
Oh, amazing. Why are there so many different names for this visa? Why is it sometimes called the VIP, sometimes the red carpet?
Okay, so that's funny because when they issued the initial decree, the name of the visa is the qualified investor visa. But in the
kind of boring.
In the initial decree, they actually put the qualified investor visa, and in parentheses, they put the red carpet because they were saying like it's like a red carpet because, we're giving you the red carpet treatment. But internationally, this type of product is called the golden visa.
Right.
So, people call it by different names. But let's say more if you're like doing research online and you're going and comparing with different countries, this is our golden visa, which measures up. And right now, I think is the best golden visa option out there.
Who is the ideal candidate for this program?
Somebody that wants to get indefinite residency right away that
Fast.
is not of retirement age.
One of the other things I like about this one particularly is that there are so many pre-construction projects in Panama. We're not Manhattan. We're not an area that has real estate that has been there sitting there for decades and decades and centuries and centuries.
Correct.
And there is a lot of new construction and a lot of people just want what's new and lovely. One of the projects I really love right now is the Westin Residences, which is right here in Playa Bonita. That won't be done for about 4 or 5 years, but you could pay now, lock in your pricing, and get that residency.
Correct. You can buy the property, do the minimum $300,000 payment, and we can move forward with the residency application. You can get indefinite residency right away. Now, a very important aspect is the Panamanian residency does not require you to be in Panama a certain time per year. It's a very flexible residency. I like to say it's a great plan B residency because you can get it, but it really doesn't have a big commitment in terms of now I have to be in Panama a certain time. The only real requirement is to come into the country at least once every 2 years. So for example, you can come here to Panama, you can reserve your property, go back home, you can do the investment, we can do the residency process while you are home. You can become an indefinite resident. Whenever you're able, you can come here, we can get your indefinite residency ID, we can get your cédula, which is our local ID, and you can go back home. Then, you really don't have an obligation to come more than between 2 years. And by the time that the building's ready, you want to move in, you want to rent it, you've already had like the residency for like 3-4 years. Exactly. You're 1 year from applying for citizenship.
Exactly. I've heard different numbers for this residency. 300,000 versus 500,000. Can you explain that? Because I know both prices are on the internet.
Okay. So when they issued the decree initially, the amount was 500,000, but it had a discount for the first 2 years of the decree for real estate only, which is 300,000.
Okay.
So what happened is this was in October 2020. We were in the middle of the pandemic. Then like the 4th COVID wave hit, and then the 5th COVID wave hit. So, by the time it was 2022, October, we were starting to do actually this residency category. So they extended it for 2 more years, which was very logical at the time. And now in October 2024, when that was coming up, they decided, well, they basically did a new decree, which kind of didn't change the visa, but changed some of the things in the structure. And what they put is that they will review in 2 years the amount.
Okay, so right now it's good through 2026.
Through 2026, it's 300,000. And then they will review it. But for now, at least you know that for 2 years or you have the 300,000.
And are there any restrictions on the type of property that can be used?
No, not really. As long as it's real estate and you do the minimum payment, it can be commercial real estate, it can be residential, it could be a piece of land. We can apply for the residency.
Okay. And can that real estate be financed or does it have to be a cash transaction?
So the minimum amount of $300,000 cannot be financed. You have to bring $300,000 to this country, and that's one of the requirements of the residency. If the property, let's say, costs $500,000 and you want to finance the difference, you can finance the difference, but you have to do at least the minimum $300,000
in cash. Okay.
Correct.
And can multiple properties be combined to meet that investment threshold?
Yes, of course. You can do 2 properties, let's say 2 apartments of 150 or 2 apartments of 180. You can do that as well.
Okay. Or one of 250 and then another one that's a little bit above and then you just combine them.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Are there any specific areas or projects in Panama that qualify or don't qualify for this visa?
No. I mean, as long as it's real estate and it's over $300,000, everything qualifies.
So it seems pretty easy, pretty cut and dried.
It's pretty cut and dry, yeah.
So we have a $10,000 fee that has to be paid to the government.
Correct.
What other legal or administrative costs should applicants expect?
Well, there's an additional $2,000 per dependent that you add. The rest of the costs are very low. So
to the government. So if I'm bringing a husband, I pay my $10,000 and then $2,000 for him. So I've given $12,000 to the government.
Correct.
And how long does the process take from investment to receiving the visa?
As soon as you have done the investment and we have your personal documents, let's say FBI clearance, marriage certificate, birth certificate for the kids, etc., we're ready to apply. The process, we initially start at the Ministry of Commerce, where we take the documentation to show that you've done the investment. And that's pretty quick. They take like a week or 2 weeks and they issue a certificate of investment. Once we have the certificate of investment, we go to immigration and we apply. And it's 30 business days from there. Generally, it's actually pretty quick. They don't take the whole 30 business days. So I would say 45 calendar days from where we start, you will get, immigration will issue the resolution granting you and your dependents an indefinite residency in Panama.
That's amazing. So for someone who wants citizenship, once they get this, because it's a permanent visa,
Correct.
What is then the process to wait? You said there was a 5-year period, so they have to have that for 5 years before they can apply for citizenship.
Correct. It's in our Constitution. 5 years after being an indefinite resident, you can apply for citizenship. There are certain countries like Spain and Colombia that we have bilateral agreements where the wait time is less, 2 years. Also, if you're married to a Panamanian, and you have kids in Panama, the wait time is 3 years. There's different, but for most people, it's 5 years.
Is the visa tied to a property indefinitely, or can the investor sell the property and still maintain their visa?
So this particular type of residency does contemplate that you have to hold the investment for 5 years. So although we get initially an indefinite residency right away, we, the lawyers, or at least what I do is every year I provide proof to the Ministry of Commerce that you still maintain the property, which is very simple. We just provide a public registry certificate showing that you own the property, and we just send it every year, and that's it.
So for someone who's buying a pre-construction project that's really not going to be done for 5 years, by the time they take possession, they could actually turn around and sell it.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So it's 5 years from the time the residency starts and then not from when the project is finished.
Correct. It's 5 years from where you get the residency.
Can this be made through a corporation or a foundation, or does it have to be in the investor's personal name?
No, you can buy either in your personal name, in a corporation or a foundation, whatever you prefer. What you cannot buy is, for example, in a foreign company, like a US LLC, which you can buy properties in a US LLC in Panama, just to be clear, but not for the residency because that's not contemplated in the law.
Okay.
In the immigration law, you can buy in your personal name, in the name of a corporation, or the name of a foundation.
Let's say somebody purchases something right at the barrier at $300,000, and then the property value drops. So now it's no longer worth $300,000. Is the visa then at risk?
No, not at all. The value is based on what you paid. There's two things that we're going to show. What you paid, we show it through a bank letter that will show the money came from outside of Panama through a wire transfer and that you paid $300,000 or more, and the value registered at the public registry if it's already in your name. And if not, we're showing is the promise of purchase agreement, right? So if the market value of the property shifts, that doesn't affect here the value that is registered at the public registry, nor does it affect, if it's in pre-construction, the value that the developer will transfer it to you. The developer, it's same as if it goes up. The developer is going to transfer it to you at the price you paid.
Okay.
And that's the price is going to be registered. And that's not changing.
Buying real estate in Panama isn't like buying back home. What you don't know can cost you. Before you search for properties online that might or might not be as advertised, go to choosepanama.com/contact and schedule a free 30-minute call. Our white glove service takes the stress out of buying abroad. Now, you talked about how a lot of different countries around the world have golden visas. So how does Panama's golden visa compare to other countries like Portugal, Spain, or the Caribbean?
Well, right now, I do think Panama has one of the best golden visa products. First of all, it's one of the few that provides you an indefinite residency upon application. For example, Portugal provides you a 1-year residency initially. You have to stay in the country at least 14 days. Then you do a second application for 2 years. You have to stay, I think, 7 days at least in the country. Then you have to do another application for 2 years. Now, Portugal doesn't have the real estate investment. Now you have to they have like a donation to culture.
Donation.
You have to basically spend, they have two options. You can do like $250,000 that you donate. Just give that money away. Or you can do a $500,000 investment in like a Portugal fund. So I think ultimately our product is excellent. And combined with the fact that Panama has a territorial tax system, so we don't charge tax on foreign income, whether you are a resident or a citizen of Panama. So for that reason, it's very convenient. And for many other reasons why Panama is coming up as a country, because it has a good product, it's a very convenient place for people from different nationalities to get the residency here. A lot of people are making money from different countries, work online, and you can make Panama your home and have a better tax situation.
And if you want more information on the taxes, I did a whole video on that. You can click this link. We'll put it right there.
Yes.
From a legal standpoint, what are the biggest mistakes or misconceptions people have about the golden visa?
Yes. The main issue that has to be, well, what I talk to clients initially when they want to buy a property and want to do the golden visa is that we have to focus a lot on how you make that initial payment. One of the important requirements of this visa is that we show through a bank letter from a Panamanian bank that the funds came from outside of Panama and that were used to purchase the property. So sometimes, for example, if I'll give you a classic scenario. You're going to buy a property. Your lawyer doesn't advise you on this, or you just don't put this into consideration. And then you're going to wire transfer the funds, but you send them not from your personal account, from a corporate account that you have that is now difficult to link to you. And you send it to the seller who the property is in the name of a corporation, but they're receiving it in their personal account, or in the foundation that has nothing to do with this corporation. And then we're stuck like, okay, how do we show immigration that you actually brought the funds and paid it to the seller and for this property? Not that it's impossible, but it's a lot more complicated. Right. So one of the main things that I focus on, and we also advise and handle the real estate transactions with the clients, but is make sure that all the payments are done in a way that are easy later to get this letter to show that you bought the property from the seller.
Exactly. Everything has to be tracked and traced.
Correct.
What happens if an applicant decides that they no longer want to maintain residency? Can they cancel it, or can they convert it?
No, you can cancel it. I mean, it's whenever you want to close the residency, it's a simple process. You just give us power of attorney, and we go and we close the residency at immigration. So if, for example, you no longer, let's say if you did it as a plan B, okay, and now whatever was your motivation to do that plan B now seems like very not important. And I think you can still want the property as a real estate investment, but let's say you no longer want that real estate. You can perfectly just sell the property and tell your lawyer to close the residency. Now, you don't really have to close the residency because, again, like I mentioned, it doesn't really obligate you to come to Panama less than once every 2 years. And also, furthermore, even if you don't come to Panama once every 2 years, let's say you no longer want anything to Panama, but you have your indefinite residency, there's a decree that if 2 to 5 years pass between you coming to Panama, you can reactivate the residency with an affidavit just explaining why you didn't come to Panama. So ultimately, you can keep your residency until, you really decide you no longer want it, or it's just, the government in itself. Like, for example, if we have to provide the Ministry of Commerce proof that you have the property and you no longer have it, at that point, obviously, there could be a cancellation.
What advice would you give someone who's on the fence about pursuing this residency?
Well, number one, again, it's a low barrier with upkeep. So different from other countries, it's a residency that you can get and you can live your life and have that residency, no problem. Number two, Panama, I think right now is a really good place to put money in real estate. Our real estate is really well valued compared to around the world, how you compare per square meter. And we have the US dollar. So it's not like you're putting your investment in a currency that can devalue. So That's a lot to consider. It's not the same thing, for example, if you put your property and your investment in Colombia, and then you have to figure out if the Colombian peso is devaluing this amount, and you have currency risk and real estate market risk. So all those things are not too much to consider here. So I do think, you can invest in Panama, know that it's a, US dollar, and you can later figure out if you really want to move, if that's the case where you're on the fence. But you can assure to get the residency now,
Absolutely. Ricardo, how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more?
Okay. You can contact me. We have two websites. We have www.denfablaw.com. We also have a website that's more specific for immigration, which is www.denfabimmigration.com. You can see a lot of information there, and you have all our contact information there. You can always contact us at info@denfablaw.com, or my personal email, which is ricardofaraudo@denfablaw.com.
And I'm going to have all of that in the show notes, just in case you don't have a pencil handy right now as we're doing this. If the idea of unlocking Panama's residency with a red carpet welcome sounds appealing, the Golden Visa just might be your fast track to paradise. With the right investment and expert guidance, like what Ricardo and his team at DenFab Law provide, you could turn your Plan B into a luxurious Plan A. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, Panama doesn't just knock, it rolls out the VIP treatment. Thanks for joining us. See you in Panama. Cheers.